All right, everyone, get ready, because today we're diving deep into the history of Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
We're going way beyond those parades and parties you usually think of.
Right.
To uncover the origins and hidden influences that make this celebration so fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
You've got a whole stack of articles and historical deep dives ready to go.
A lot of research went into this one.
Let me tell you, some of these discoveries were pretty surprising.
Oh, I bet.
For example, did you know that Carnival might be linked all the way back to ancient Mesopotamia?
Really?
Yeah. Like they used to crown a prisoner as king for a few days and then
Then what?
execute him later.
Wow.
That's pretty wild, right?
That's a pretty dramatic way to celebrate.
Talk about a wild New Year's Eve.
Yeah, no kidding.
It really makes you think about those themes of role reversal and social satire.
Right, like turning the world upside down.
Exactly. Even today, we love to let loose during Carnival.
Oh, yeah.
Break social norms.
Poke fun at authority.
It makes you wonder if those ancient echoes are still influencing how we celebrate.
Yeah. It's like a primal urge to just shake things up a bit.
Totally. And speaking of shaking things up,
Oh, here we go.
let's talk about the church trying to, tame these early festivals.
Right, they weren't exactly fans of the wild side of things.
They tried to shut them down completely, but people just weren't having it.
No way.
So what do? They tried to incorporate Carnival into the religious calendar,
Interesting tactic.
hoping to kind of infuse it with some Christian meaning.
Right, bring some order to the chaos.
But Carnival has always had this mischievous, rebellious spirit.
Oh, absolutely.
It absorbed those influences, blended pagan revelry with Christian traditions.
A real cultural mashup.
And it created a celebration that's uniquely complex.
Is it layers?
It really does.
Yeah.
And this cultural mashup played out across continents, too.
Oh, yeah.
Think about those lavish masked balls in Venice,
Ooh, fancy.
where the elite could hide their identities and get up to all sorts of mischief.
I can only imagine.
And then you have Portugal with its Entrudos.
Entrudos.
These were chaotic street parties.
Sounds messy.
People would throw food, water, anything they could get their hands on.
A real free-for-all.
Complete chaos. A chance to let loose and break all the rules.
I love it.
And guess what? Those wild Entrudos hopped across the Atlantic with the Portuguese colonists.
Where'd they end up?
Right in Brazil.
Of course. The birthplace of modern carnival.
It set the stage for a whole new chapter in Carnival's evolution.
I can't wait to hear about this.
So how did Brazil take this imported tradition and turn it into the vibrant, world-renowned spectacle we know today?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Well, the answer lies partly in the powerful influence of African culture.
Ah, yes, the heart and soul of Brazilian music and dance.
Exactly. Early Carnival in Brazil was basically a continuation of those Portuguese Entrudos.
Just pure, unadulterated fun.
They called it Entrudo as well. A messy, joyous street party.
I can picture it now.
But gradually things started to shift. Groups called cordões and ranchos started forming,
Cordones and ranchos.
adding more organized parades and music to the mix.
So things were getting a little more structured.
A little bit. And their music of choice. The catchy, upbeat marchinhas.
Marchinhas.
You can think of them as the precursors to samba.
Oh, wow. So they laid the groundwork for the music we know and love today.
Exactly. And when we talk about samba, we're talking about a musical genre that's deeply intertwined with Brazil's history.
Especially the experiences of enslaved Africans.
Their traditions, their rhythms, their resilience in the face of oppression.
It's all woven into the fabric of samba.
It's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Those early samba gatherings weren't just about music and dance.
Right, there was something more to it.
They were a way for enslaved people to connect with their heritage.
To find joy and solace in a system that sought to dehumanize them.
It was a form of resistance, a way to preserve their identity and find strength in community.
Such a beautiful and powerful expression of the human spirit.
And those gatherings eventually evolved into the organized samba schools we know today.
The heart and soul of modern carnival.
But these schools are more than just musical groups.
Yeah, they're like community centers.
They bring people together, provide support, and nurture a shared love for samba.
It's amazing how they become such a vital part of the community.
Absolutely. They became a source of pride, especially in marginalized communities.
Right, a way to celebrate their heritage and their talent.
And each school developed its own unique style.
Reflecting the history and personality of its neighborhood.
Think them as cultural ambassadors.
Carrying the stories and traditions of their communities through music, dance, and elaborate visual displays.
It's incredible how these schools took a form of resistance and turned it into such a powerful cultural force.
It's a testament to the power of music and community.
To think it all started with people gathering in secret, finding solace and strength in shared rhythms.
And now it's a global phenomenon.
So tell me, how did we go from these intimate gatherings to the massive, world-famous carnival celebrations we see today? What was that turning point?
Well, a big part of it was the rise of the samba competitions between the schools.
The competition heated up.
It wasn't just about music anymore.
It was about pride.
About showcasing your community's talent and creativity.
Right, like a battle for bragging rights.
Exactly. And with that competition came the need for a bigger stage.
A place where these grand spectacles could truly come alive.
A stage worthy of the passion and energy of samba. And that's where the Sambadromo comes in. You know that iconic avenue designed by Oscar Niemeyer?
Oh yeah, the legendary architect.
It transformed Carnival into a spectacle unlike anything the world had ever seen.
It's hard to imagine the sheer scale of it. A purpose-built stage for the greatest show on earth.
Exactly. Before the Sambadromo, the parades were happening all over the city.
Which I imagine was pretty chaotic.
Oh yeah, it was exciting, but definitely chaotic. Yeah. But with this dedicated space, the energy, the visual spectacle, the sound, everything was amplified.
It must be an incredible experience to be there.
Yeah.
In the heart of the Sambadromo, during a samba school competition.
Oh, it's electric. Imagine the roar of the crowd as each school enters the avenue. Thousands of performers in dazzling costumes, massive floats that seem to defy gravity.
And the music.
Oh, the music is thunderous. The beat of the samba drums echoing through those iconic arches. It's sensory overload in the best possible way.
Sounds amazing.
It's a celebration of creativity, passion, and community spirit.
And for the samba schools, it's their moment to shine.
It's their chance to tell their stories to the world.
Months of preparation. Countless hours of rehearsal, all leading up to this one incredible performance.
The pressure must be immense.
I bet. It's not just about putting on a good show.
No, it's about representing your community, honoring your heritage.
And vying for that coveted title of champion.
The judges scrutinize every detail, the costumes, the music, the choreography, the theme, the overall impact.
So we've talked about the evolution of samba, from those hidden gatherings to the grand stage of the Sambadromo.
A journey of resilience and creativity.
But to really understand the heart of this music, we need to talk about the instruments, right? The ones that give it that signature sound.
Absolutely. The instruments are like the voices of samba, each with its own unique character and story to tell.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, you have the booming pulse of the surdo, the largest drum.
That sets the foundation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's the tamborim, a small hand drum that adds a sharp rhythmic counterpoint.
Okay, I can hear that.
And of course, we can't forget the cuica with its high-pitched, almost bird-like sound.
I've always loved the cuica. It sounds like nothing else.
It adds a touch of playfulness and whimsy to the music.
It's amazing how these different instruments, each with its own distinct personality, come together to create such a rich and layered soundscape.
It's a true collaboration.
What about the lyrics, though? What kinds of stories do samba songs tell?
Samba lyrics often reflect the lives of everyday people, their joys, their sorrows, their struggles, their hopes.
Real life stories.
You'll hear stories of love, heartbreak, social injustice, the resilience of the human spirit, and the vibrancy of Brazilian culture.
So it's a way of giving voice to the voiceless.
Offering a glimpse into the heart and soul of a community.
So samba is more than just music. It's a reflection of history, a tapestry woven with the threads of Brazilian culture and the experiences of its people.
It's a powerful form of expression.
But for those of us who aren't familiar with all the nuances of samba, what should we be listening for? What are the key elements that define its sound and style?
Well, one of the defining characteristics of samba is its syncopated rhythm, that offbeat pulse that makes you want to move.
It's definitely infectious.
You'll also hear a call and response pattern between the lead singer and the chorus, creating a dynamic interplay that builds energy and excitement.
Okay, I'll listen for that.
And then, of course, there's the interplay between the various instruments, each contributing its own unique flavor to the overall mix.
It's a complex and layered musical style, but it's also incredibly accessible and joyful. Even if you don't understand the lyrics, the rhythm and energy of samba can speak to you on a primal level.
It's the universal language of music.
Yeah, as much as we could talk about samba in Rio all day, we'd be doing a disservice to the incredible diversity of carnival celebrations across Brazil.
Oh, absolutely. Rio might be the global face of carnival, but it's just one piece of a much larger, more vibrant mosaic.
So let's step outside the Sambadromo and explore some of those regional variations. Let's head north, shall we, to Recife, a city known for its high-energy acrobatic dance style frevo.
Ah, frevo. Now that's a dance style that will get your heart racing.
It looks so incredibly dynamic and joyful, like a whirlwind of color and movement.
Imagine dancers in brightly colored costumes twirling and leaping through the streets, umbrellas in hand.
I've seen pictures. It's mesmerizing.
Their footwork is so fast and intricate, it's almost a blur.
So much energy.
Frevo is all about improvisation, athleticism, and pure exuberance.
Sounds like a workout.
It's a dance that demands incredible skill and stamina. And it's a visual spectacle that's sure to leave you breathless.
What about the music? What kind of rhythms drive those frevo dancers?
The music is just as energetic and vibrant as the dance itself. Think brass bands, marching rhythms, and a strong African influence.
It's a fusion of styles.
It reflects the history of Recife, a port city that's always been a melting pot of cultures.
So the music has its own story to tell.
Absolutely. The music is fast-paced, infectious, and impossible to resist.
You can't help but move your feet when you hear that frevo beat.
Exactly. It's pure joy and energy.
So we've got the energy and acrobatics of frevo in Recife. But what other regional gems are waiting to be discovered? I've heard whispers of giant puppets in mobile concerts.
Yes. You're talking about the wonders of Olinda and Salvador.
Tell me more.
Let's start with Olinda, a UNESCO World Heritage City, where carnival takes on a more whimsical and satirical tone. Imagine giant puppets, some towering over 10 feet tall, parading through the cobblestone streets.
Giant puppets. That sounds incredible.
They're accompanied by drummers and revelers, and they represent everyone and everything.
Everyone and everything.
From political figures and pop culture icons to mythical creatures and historical figures.
So it's not just a visual spectacle. It's a form of social commentary.
Exactly. They're often used to poke fun at current events, social issues, and even local personalities.
It's like a giant walking, talking editorial cartoon.
It's a brilliant way to engage people in social and political issues while still keeping things lighthearted and fun.
But you mentioned mobile concerts as well.
You're talking about the electric trios of Salvador Bahia.
Tell me everything.
Picture this. Massive trucks equipped with towering sound systems carrying bands through the streets, followed by a sea of revelers dancing and singing along.
It's like a party on wheels.
Exactly. A mobile concert that takes over the entire city.
That sounds absolutely wild. What kind of music fuels these mobile parties? Is it all samba or is there something else going on there?
Salvador's music scene is as diverse as its carnival celebrations. You'll hear a mix of samba, reggae, axe, and other Afro-Brazilian rhythms.
So it's a real melting pot of musical styles.
All blended together to create an electrifying soundscape that keeps the party going for days.
Sounds amazing. So as we can see, Carnival in Brazil is not a monolithic celebration. It's a kaleidoscope of traditions, rhythms, and expressions.
Each region adding its own unique flavor to the mix.
And it's that diversity, that blend of influences, that makes Brazilian Carnival such a rich and fascinating cultural phenomenon.
It's a celebration that embraces every aspect of Brazilian culture, the African heritage, the Portuguese influence, the indigenous traditions.
And it's constantly evolving, adapting, and reinventing itself.
It's a living, breathing entity fueled by the passion and creativity of the Brazilian people.
But, after this incredible journey through the hidden depths of Carnival, I have to ask, what does it all mean for us, the listeners? Why should we care about a celebration happening halfway across the world?
That's a great question. I think Carnival offers us a glimpse into the heart of Brazilian culture, its vibrancy, its resilience, its ability to find joy in the face of adversity.
It's a reminder that even in a world that can often feel divided and disconnected, there's still a place for shared celebration, for cultural exchange, for expressing our humanity through music, dance, and art.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lesson there for all of us, whether you're in Brazil or anywhere else in the world. The spirit of Carnival reminds us to embrace our own cultural heritage, to find joy in community, and to celebrate the things that make us unique.
It's a call to let loose, to shed our inhibitions, and to connect with something larger than ourselves. It's a reminder that life is a celebration, and we should never miss an opportunity to dance, sing, and create joy with others.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our Carnival adventure. We've journeyed from the ancient roots of celebration to the vibrant streets of modern Brazil, exploring the music, the history, and the stories that make this festival so unforgettable. There's another group we should mention, especially prominent in Salvador, the Afoxe groups.
Fajaco groups.
They bring a unique spiritual dimension to the celebrations.
I don't think I've heard of those. What makes them so special?
Well, they're deeply rooted in Afro-Brazilian traditions,
Okay.
often linked to candomblé.
Candomblé.
It's a religion that blends Yoruba Fan and Bantu beliefs
Oh,
with elements of Catholicism.
so a real blend of influences.
Exactly. Imagine processions filled with vibrant costumes,
Okay.
the pulsating rhythms of drums and other traditional instruments,
I can hear it now.
and a palpable sense of reverence for their ancestors and deities.
So they're not just participating in Carnival.
Right.
They're also expressing their spiritual beliefs.
Yes, and honoring their heritage.
It's another layer of meaning woven into Carnival.
Exactly. It's not just about revelry.
Right.
It's also a platform for cultural and spiritual expression.
I'm starting to understand that Carnival in Brazil is less of a single event and more of a tapestry, woven with threads from all these different regions, traditions, and beliefs.
You got it. And it's that diversity, that blend of influences that makes Brazilian Carnival so captivating. It's a celebration that embraces every aspect of Brazilian culture.
Like what?
The African heritage, the Portuguese influence, the indigenous traditions, and it's constantly evolving, adapting, and reinventing itself,
It's like a living, breathing entity.
fueled by the passion and creativity of the Brazilian people.
But after this incredible journey through the hidden depths of Carnival, I have to ask, what does it all mean for us, the listeners?
Right.
Why should we care about a celebration happening halfway across the world?
That's a great question.
It is.
I think Carnival offers us a glimpse into the heart of Brazilian culture, its vibrancy, its resilience, its ability to find joy in the face of adversity.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in a world that can often feel divided and disconnected, there's still a place for shared celebration, for cultural exchange, for expressing our humanity through music, dance, and art.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lesson there for all of us. Whether you're in Brazil or anywhere else in the world, the spirit of Carnival reminds us to embrace our own cultural heritage,
Okay.
to find joy in community,
Yeah.
and to celebrate the things that make us unique.
It's a call to let loose, to shed our inhibitions, and to connect with something larger than ourselves.
And to remember that life is a celebration.
We should never miss an opportunity to dance, sing, and create joy with others.
Well said.
Thanks.
On that note, I think it's time to wrap up our Carnival adventure.
Okay.
We've journeyed from the ancient roots of celebration to the vibrant streets of modern Brazil, exploring the music, the history, and the stories that make this festival so unforgettable.
It's been an incredible journey, and I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore the hidden depths of Carnival, whether it's through music, dance, or simply by immersing themselves in the vibrant culture that gave birth to this extraordinary celebration.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself dancing in the streets of Rio Recife or Salvador, experiencing the magic of Carnival firsthand. Until then, keep exploring, keep celebrating, and keep those adventurous spirits alive.
That's a wrap on this episode of Unseen Destinations. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Carnival. We'll be back soon with another adventure, exploring more hidden corners of our fascinating world.